Welcome to Winds and Safety. It's me, your host, Kemi Oluwoyo Otegbade. This episode title is When Safety Fails at 35,000 feet, the unanswered questions surrounding the death of Mrs. Patience Ngozi Adiele. Wings and Safety is the space where aviation meets accountability and where passenger safety is not a privilege but a right. Today's episode is one we wish we didn't have to make, but we just have to make it. It's the story of a mother, a grandmother, a seasoned traveler, Mrs. Patience Ngozi Adiele, who boarded a commercial flight on January 19th, 2026, and never made it to her destination alive. May her soul rest in peace. This episode is not about rumors. It's not about online outrage. It is about facts, procedures, transparency, and safety. Mrs. Patience Ngozi Adiele had just celebrated her 70th birthday. She had returned to Nigeria from the United States for the Christmas holidays to be with family, to celebrate life, and have a party. You know how we party in Nigeria. No one party like us. So, by all accounts, she was not new to international travel. She had over a decade of experience flying between Nigeria, UK, and the United States. But unfortunately, this happened. On January 19th, 2026, she boarded Ethiopian Airlines flights ET950 and ET500, traveling from Abuja back to the United States. Somewhere between takeoff and landing, on the morning of January 20th, 2026, she passed away on board the aircraft. No family should receive news without clarity. Everyone is aware that the son had to write an open letter to the public just to understand how his mother died. No family, we repeat, no family should have to write an open letter just to understand how their matriarch died. So, following this incident, Mrs. Adiele's son released an open letter. In it, he asked a simple but painful question: what went wrong on board that flight? He called on fellow passengers, anyone who was on that aircraft, to come forward and share eyewitness accounts. That call alone raises a critical concern. Why was the family left without adequate information from the airline? On our part, on Wings and Safety, we will educate the public what should happen during a medical emergency in flight. Let's pause here and talk about aviation standards. When a passenger experiences a medical emergency at 35,000 feet, airlines are expected by international regulation to follow clear protocols. These include immediate crew response, a call for medical kits and oxygen, a call for medical professionals on board, deployment of an AED if required, consultation with ground-based medical advisory services, and where necessary, diversion to the nearest suitable airports. These are not optional gestures. They are global aviation safety standards. Which leads us to the question Ethiopian Airlines must answer. Yes. At Wings and Safety, we want to ask the unanswered questions. We ask these questions not as an attack, but as a demand for safety and transparency. Number 1, when did Mrs. Adiele first show signs of distress? Was it shortly after departure, mid-flight, during descent? Yes, we need answer to that. Question 2, what immediate medical response was provided? Was a doctor or nurse called on board? Was oxygen administered? Was the onboard medical kit used? Question 3, was an AED available and was it deployed? Question 4, was a flight diversion considered? If yes, why was it rejected? If no, why not? 5th question, who made the final decision? The captain? Airline operations? Ground medical consultants? Question 6, when and how was the family informed? Why did information appear delayed or incomplete? Why was no clear incident report issued promptly? These are not emotional questions. These are standard aviation safety questions. Now, there's a call for passenger witnesses by the Sun. At this point, we at Wings and Safety, we echo the family's call. If you were a passenger on Ethiopian Airlines flight ET950 or ET500, departing Abuja on January 19, 2026, and you witness any parts of this incident, your voice matters. Your voice matters. Not for gossip, not for social media drama, but for truth and accountability. Eyewitness accounts can help establish timeline accuracy, crew response behavior, whether proper procedures were followed. Now we go to passenger rights and airline responsibility. Under international aviation law, particularly the Montreal Convention, airlines have a duty of care to passengers. The duty includes proper medical response, reasonable decision-making, clear communication with next of kin. Transparency after death is not kindness, it is an obligation. So, this story matters. This episode is not just about Mrs. Patience Ngozi Adiele. It is about every passenger, every long-haul flight, every family that trusts an airline with a loved one's life. It must extend to every passenger, every mile, every emergency. Please, we need a full incident report. Clarify the medical response provided, explain the decision-making process, communicate transparency with the family. And we call on aviation regulators to ensure that this incident is independently reviewed. To the Adiele family, our deepest condolences. To our listeners, stay informed, stay vigilant, and keep asking questions. Follow us on YouTube at Wings and Safety. I am your host, Kemi Olowoyo Otegbade. Thank you.